Welcome to Sports Talk on the Friday night edition. We are live on the WJRG television network, and we're excited tonight. I'm Dr. Jerry Green, along with Big Don from Big Don Production. What's up, Brother Don?
Everything's good. Everything's good.
And this show is being produced by Big Don Production tonight, all the way in Maryland. What's up, my brother-in-law, Larry Pearson, the chief man? What's up, Larry?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited.
I know you are. And one of the greatest pastors in the world, Pastor Walter Teague from Basileia. What's up, my brother? God bless you, man.
God bless. To God be the glory.
And he's a Laker man, a lifelong Laker man. So we're going to get into that. And our sports legend reporter, brother Anthony McLean. What's up, Anthony?
I'm good. Still tired from staying up late last night watching the Lakers-Knicks.
Yeah, that was a good game, man. Great game. We're going to get into that. I'm going to start with football real fast. I was watching today that Joe Burrows made some comments about the Bengals. You know, some additional players, I guess, they need to sign to keep the team intact. And also, they was talking about a trade for T. Higgins. So let me start with you, Anthony, about Joe Burrows. You think, what can the Bengals do to improve their roster, man, and, you know, and get back into championship form?
Well, they already designated Higgins as their franchise guy for now. Okay. Their best defensive player, Hendrickson, is asking for a trade. And now, unless Burrow is willing to take a pay cut, like we've seen so many other quarterbacks, you know, we saw Dak do that earlier this week to hopefully, for their sake, to have some more extra money for Parsons. But Joe's going to have to take a little responsibility as well to take a little bit of a pay cut so they can either keep these guys or go out and get players. And this is the time of the year where you got a lot of free agency, now that we're in March, and teams are scurrying up their roster. But Joe's put his way. Joe means well, but Joe's got to put his money in a sense where his mouth is at this point in time right now if he wants the Bengals to improve.
All right. What about you, Larry? Did I go with the pastor and Big Don? Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, my point is this. Burrow talking about he wanted to get key pieces. He's talking about the defense because they was giving up about 24 points a game, and you can't win doing that. But on the other side of the ball, the offense got these high-priced receivers. Higgins is going to get about 17, and Weston want 20. Money on the receivers, and you just got a running back that's really not that good. So they got to find a way to get around that. They talked about not keeping Higgins and trying to get cheaper receivers so they can keep the defense up to par. But since they put all the money in on the offense, it's going to be hard for them to improve.
Wow, okay. Pastor Walter, what's up, my brother? You my football man as well. What you think?
The Bengals, they're just notoriously cheap. That's what's wrong, man. They don't sign their players. They sign the quarterback, and then they're going to sign the wide receivers, probably be the highest paid wide receiver, and that's going to be it. They franchise Higgins because they can't pay him. They're going to wait till next year and probably let him go. But at the same time, now you got Henderson, who was led the league in sacks. He won his money, and they're just cheap. So they're not going to make it back to prominence because they don't want to pay nobody. If they had that first run when Joe Burrow was on his, rookie contract, the Chase was on his rookie contract, so they didn't have to pay nobody. But now it comes time to pay up, and they're just notoriously cheap. So that's why. No, it's just fact. They're one of the teams in the NFL that don't want to pay no money, and you gotta, spend money unless you're going to develop the teams, or unless you like the Eagles. Eagles, soon as their guy showed any potential like he's gonna be good, they said sign him, extend him 2 years, give him money now before he even go free agent. So he gonna say, sure, give me my money now. I'm not up, and they're still in the contract. Then they can go do what they did. Look what they just did to Barkley. They made him the highest paid running back, in the NFL. As soon as they see some, potential, they say, okay, sign them guys. And
they want to keep him, right? What about you, Big Man, on Joe Burrow?
I didn't hear the comment that he made, but I feel he got a good case. I mean, it's showing now that he want to win. Maybe he will give up some of his money to win, but I didn't hear the comment he made.
Okay. Brother Kendall, how you doing, bro? God bless you, man.
God bless you. Can you guys hear me?
We hear you good.
yes.
We hear you
Okay,
good.
good to go.
All right.
Man.
Don, just keep me in the middle of the screen, Don.
I was talking about Joe Burrow. I saw him on Sports Center today. He made a comment what the Bengals got to do to improve their roster to get back into championship form, and also they talked about a trade with T. Higgins. What's your thoughts on Joe Burrow, and what can the Bengals do to improve their roster? They want to win a championship.
Well, like I was just listening to what Pastor Teague said, they're notoriously cheap for always being almost there and never quite getting over the hump. I mean, these guys got rid of what was that guy who ended up at the Patriots? He was a running back. The running
Corey
back.
Dillon.
Yeah.
Corey Dillon.
So
Yeah.
Corey Dillon, at that time, Corey Dillon was the best running back in the league. He
Yes,
had like
ma'am.
275 yards in the league. They wouldn't pay him. And guess you what? I bet you Corey Dillon got himself a ring with New England. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but Cincinnati's just one of them teams that just wants to, like he said, they're cheap. They're not going to win. They even have probably one of the greatest offensive linemen to ever play the game, Anthony Munoz. We don't know anything about him because he's only been to one Super Bowl that they lost to the San Francisco 49ers, and he was underpaid throughout his whole career. And he was the single best offensive lineman when he played. And it was like 10 years. And even the Matthew boys are around. Houston Oilers and stuff, they were still there, but he was the best. So, yeah, they're notoriously cheap. So, I mean, you want to have T. Higgins. You want to have the rookie that he just mentioned that was with him on the contract came out of LSU with
Chase.
Joe Burrow. Chase, exactly. Wanted him. You would have those two. Can you imagine Joe Burrow with those two weapons? Pay them. You'll probably have a serious run because they've shown that they can do what they need to do. But Cincinnati's not going to pay him. And just like he said, Philadelphia, what do? They make sure they pay Saquon Barkley the biggest contract you'll have for a running back because they want to keep this thing in place. And they've been in the Super Bowl the last couple of years, So
All right.
It is what it is.
Big Don, let me start with you on this one, man, because I'm getting into basketball in a few. The Eagles, they're the Super Bowl champs. All right. Can the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Commanders, can they beat the Eagles, or do you see a two-peat Super Bowl twice with them? And I'll get with Larry. And Larry said the only thing the Chiefs do is win. Can them teams beat the Eagles right now, you think?
Well, that's a good question. But the Eagles can go back to back. But yes, the Chiefs can beat them. Even the Commandos, with that little trade they may get them a good day and Daniels are throwing right, they could beat them. They could be beat. But it's a good shot, though. They can also go back to back, So, yeah, I think they could be beat. The Chiefs, I'm not going to throw the Chiefs out of there just because they lost this one and say,
they got to be good.
I'm not going to do that.
They just lose.
Them boys will be back. And even Kelsey said, I'm going to play another year now because he want to correct this mistake he made.
Okay.
So, yeah, they can beat them.
Larry, it's your team, the Chiefs, man. So Baltimore, Buffalo, the Chiefs, can they beat the Eagles?
Yes. I think that everything went perfect for the Eagles last year. Okay. What's the name came out of nowhere? Barkley. Nobody knew Barkley was going to run like that last year. Nobody anticipated that. Now that they did, they're going to shut that down. And for them to win the division going to be a challenge. We ain't even talking about Super Bowl. We talking about winning the division first. In the NFC, they still got some monsters out there. Minnesota's tough. Detroit's tough. They're going to have a hard way to go. The Rams going to be tough. For them to think about getting back to the Super Bowl, they need to first think about winning the division. Okay.
Right. But you want to say anything about the Chiefs?
Kansas City did this year after year. They used to doing that. They know what it takes to go back to back.
The Eagles, they've been pretty good the last few years. Go ahead, Pastor Wall. What you think, man, about the Eagles' chances to back to back?
Well, they have a great chance. They got the best team, but I do think the Chiefs can beat them because I'm sure they're going to address that offensive line. So we're not even in the combines yet. So, but yes, I'm sure that with their leadership that they have in the Chiefs with Andy Reid, and I'm sure they're going to address that offensive line because that's why they got dominated because they couldn't block, they couldn't keep Patrick Mahomes upright. So I'm sure they're going to address that. And I don't give Buffalo a prayer of beating the Eagles. No,
not even a prayer.
No.
So you go all day long, they're not going to beat them. What about you, Anthony? No. The Eagles, man.
They'll win the division because there's nobody in the division right now that can beat them. Washington, they're close, but they still have to prove that they can beat them whenever. The Giants are in the 10th year of their 5-year rebuilding plan. And the Cowboys. The Cowboys are in transition as well. They'll win the division, and again, it's early because there's a lot that can happen between now and free agency, what have you. The Chiefs will be back in it again. I'll say what I always like to say: they're the champs till you beat them.
All right, I like that. Kendall, go ahead, bro. That's your team, the Eagles too. You was the Eagle man one time.
Yes, I was Eagle man because we were in Philadelphia, and I'm actually in the car with my wife. It should tell you, wherever my daughter went, they won championships. She was in Philadelphia, Philadelphia Eagles, and Villanova, and I was getting cheesesteaks. Okay, so here's the deal: Philadelphia's got the playbook. They got the thing. Matter of fact, I think people are so afraid of them that they're so dominant. That's why the Green Bay Packers wanted to try to ban the tush push, which is, hey, it's football. I mean, just stop it if you can. So I'm going out on a bandwagon. I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to say Philadelphia versus Kansas City, the rematch. That's what's going to happen. Everything else, nothing else matters to me. Kansas City, Philadelphia, the rematch. No one's going to stop them. Washington's going to have a great year. They're going to be like second in the NFC East. But Kansas City's got something to prove. And Philadelphia is going to have to try to hold up Pat Mahomes. And I'll make my decision then because I think Pat Mahomes is going to come in there with like a 15-2 record. And Philadelphia's going to have like a 14-3 record. And they're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. There it is. Throwing it out there.
All right. Did I miss anybody? All right, listen. Okay, let me move on to basketball, man. I know you guys watched the game.
Yes, I want to talk about basketball.
Well, let me start with Pastor's his team. Pastor, I know you're impressed with the Lakers. Luka Johnson, I got it up here. LeBron had 32. I think he had 31. Luka had 32, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. LeBron 31 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. How impressed are you with your boys now, man? Can they win a championship?
Very impressed. I don't think put it this way. I don't think anyone wants to see them in a 7-game series in like the finals. It's just, I heard someone, one of the commentators said something and opened my eyes. I was like, wow. He said, now LeBron is AD and Luka's LeBron. And I was like, that makes sense because LeBron is like a power forward. He rebounds, but he can shoot. He was playing their center last night. He was playing Karl Anthony Towns last night. And Luka, was just throwing the diamond passes. But LeBron's a bad man, boy. I'll tell you, I was watching the game last night. And, he come down the lane. Luka come down the lane. He slows up and pass. LeBron come down. He's like a freight train. He's going right to the basket. When they were down 10, he started to come back. He just got that layup. But, you don't want to see them. If you want to knock them out, you better knock them out in the first round. You don't want to see them, going into like game 7 in the finals with LeBron and Luka together. And the other guys, the thing is, they're getting energy off of them. So they're playing hard. They're playing tough defense. And, of course, they think they got a chance to win. So they're dangerous right now.
They're playing a lot harder for J.J. Redick than they did for Darwin Ham, of course.
They're playing a lot harder for their team.
Right, okay.
I think they think that we got 2 special guys. We got a chance to win. All we got to do is stay in our lane. I mean, even Gabe Vincent's hitting threes now, and the kid connect is hitting threes. They got a better shooting team than they had in years. Put it that way.
Go ahead, Larry. The Lakers, man. How impressed?
Yeah, I would like to say for first of all, you was the only one when the trade went down said that that's a great combination.
Who's
And
what?
I was you did,
Me?
and I was a little bit
Okay.
on the fence. I said that's
Thank you,
not gonna
Larry.
work.
Thank
I
you,
said
Larry.
because the
That's not true
defensive
though. I
thing.
said it too.
It is true. He said it, Don. Give me my prop.
After that, watching him play now, I never seen LeBron look so fresh. I never seen him feel like the weight is off his shoulder. And the whole team got that kind of confidence that we can do this. We can make this happen. And they playing like a bunch of young kids out there. And LeBron
Right.
feels so free that he can do what he want to do. You know what I'm saying? I think Luka took all that pressure off his back. Now he's just playing ball.
All right, go ahead,
He
Don.
got nothing to lose.
Make your point.
No. He right. I didn't say they were going to win a championship or not, but I did like the trade with Luka. I did like that. I thought it was better than keeping AD.
I think LA got a chance to be in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, sure, they got a chance. They got the chance.
They got a good chance.
Hey, yeah. They got LeBron and they got Luka. Go ahead, Ant. When you finish on.
Well, I'm impressed with Luka. I want to talk about Luka because he's playing serious ball right now, and I think Luka is really convinced that they can do this thing. They can pull it off. I'm really impressed with Luka. Huh?
He went to the finals last year, Don. He was
I know it, but I wasn't quite sure how he was going to take this thing, and I'm really impressed with Luka. LeBron James, I mean, everybody's impressed with him because at his age, who can play like that at his age? And nobody's going to be going out like that. But yeah, I'm impressed with both of those boys, and I have to just give them their props. They'll be there. They'll be around.
Go ahead, Anthony. What you think about the Lakers, man? Come on now. Are they going to get better or what?
Well, I think the thing right now is the supporting cast is taking it to the next to another level. My biggest fear with the Lakers was always defense more than anything else because we all know when the playoff starts, it's a half court game. There's more, and the thing is, you're going to have to win one or two games. You're going to have to make a stop to win a game. Now they did it last night and they've done it, during this streak. And again, I'm not trying to, whatever they've been playing great, but playoffs is a completely different beast and everybody takes their games to another level. Do they have the guns now to make a run? Absolutely. And see, the scary thing is, the worst thing that Dallas did in trading Luka is they woke him up. And right. now he's playing with a vengeance. And you already know that LeBron took his game to a whole different level this year as well. So they're in the mix. They're you can't deny that they're in the mix. You just hope that they don't peak too soon.
Okay. That's the thing because the NBA yeah, you hope they don't peak. They aren't peaking already. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
No, they're going to get better. Kendall,
okay.
Talk about it now. Now, like we're talking about the Lakers, how good they are.
Anthony.
Right.
Yeah.
Anthony, you just said defense, right? Can you hear me? Well,
yeah.
they've been the number one defense team since they came in. Can you hear me?
We hear you good.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. They have been the number one defensive team since they've been in there. Jackson Hayes has been active. I've been trying to even listen. I know Pastor T tells me the Lakers are his team, but he was upset with the trade. I was like, man, they got Luka. They got rid of AD.
Huh? Right. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, well, AD doesn't show up to play. I know for a fact that one-on-one, Adrian Dantley could take Mark Aguirre to the basketball court, to the hoop, one-on-one. But Mark Aguirre on that Detroit team won a championship. That's all I'm saying. Right now, the Lakers, all right, I'm going out. Here it is, okay? Boston versus Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Final. Los Angeles versus OKC in the Western Conference Finals. Nobody wants to see the Lakers, and I'm not even a Laker fan. Those boys look good, man. I'm looking at Jackson Hayes, how active he is. They're doing all the little dirty work, man. Man, them Lakers look good, man. I'm not a Laker fan. They look good. That's all I can say
Okay.
about them.
Okay.
They're going to the Western Conference Final.
You got Houston, OKC, Dallas, Memphis, Denver, and the Clippers. And I'll throw Phoenix in there. If I miss another team in the West, help
Throw
me.
Dallas out. Throw Dallas out.
That's what I'm saying.
No, Phoenix.
Yeah, yeah,
Phoenix
yeah.
is not even in the
Throw
mix.
Phoenix out. Put
Listen,
Houston in there. Houston.
and the Lakers beat those teams. Maybe besides OKC, what team the Lakers cannot beat? Houston, Dallas, Memphis, Denver, Clippers, or Phoenix, or Golden State. What team the Lakers with LeBron James and Luka? What team in there they cannot beat in a 7-game series? And
Denver.
everybody answer that, huh?
They
Denver.
could beat any of them.
The only problem, Denver. Everyone else they'll destroy.
They can beat Denver. We know why? Double,
No, but
triple.
listen to this.
I'll tell you why, but like they did last time. Double and triple team the Joker. Let Russell Westbrook and them other guys take outside shots where they can't make, and the Lakers will beat them. That's how they beat them last time.
Yeah.
Beat them good.
I agree.
They ain't got no
They
outside.
could beat Denver.
Yeah, they got rid of the other guy. Last year they had that played for the Lakers. They got rid of a lot of their players. They don't have no outside shooters besides Jamal Murray, and he's not really a great. He's good, but you ain't got to worry about him. They can beat Denver. They can beat Denver.
Hey, Pastor, LA fan, right?
Yes, sir.
You got Connect, Vincent, and Finney Smith coming off the bench. You got Rui Hachimura is about a 7-footer. You got Jackson Hayes, who's a 7-footer. You got a 6'8" point guard, but then also you got like a 6'5" Austin Reeves, and you got LeBron. That's a problem for anybody. I don't care what you say. On paper, that's a problem. I just think the Lakers are a problem.
That's why I asked, besides OKC, which team? Houston, Dallas, Memphis?
None of them. Just listen.
Right, so when I'm looking at it, if the Lakers play the way they're playing now, and LeBron James is LeBron James, and we know what Luka could do, he proved it last year with just Kyrie. Yeah. They can go to the finals, man. They can make it. They can come out of the West.
I'm telling you, I've got them in the Western Conference Final against OKC.
Okay, I got them going to the finals. I got them going to the finals, to be honest with you, the way they playing. I got them going to the finals, bro.
OKC versus LA. There it is.
Okay. Now I got to go to the finals. If I'm wrong, then I'll admit it. But right now, the way they're looking, if all them guys continue to play the way they're playing, I got them boys going to the finals, man. But we lost Kendall, right? We lost Kendall.
We lost him. We lost him.
Okay, now Jalen Brunson, he got hurt. I think he scored 39 points last night. He's sprung his ankle. Anybody hear any feedback on that? Any other?
No, he's out. He's out. Him and Robinson are out tonight. They have to play the Clippers tonight.
Okay.
Wow. So
Lakers got the Celtics tomorrow. We'll see what's going on there.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Now that's in Boston, right?
That's in Boston.
Yeah.
That was one of my topics. Now, who needs this game the most, Anthony? The Celtics or the Lakers, man? I mean, the Center Mets. Let me say this real fast too. The Celtics have a problem with LeBron James too. Like, because I just passed him.
Who doesn't? What team in the league doesn't?
LeBron James. I'm telling you, the Celtics feared him. Toronto feared him. Chicago Bulls feared him. A lot of teams fear LeBron. And even when he with Cleveland, he took the Celtics in 7 games and won Game 7 in Boston. So Boston got to prove they could beat LeBron James. And so I think the Celtics don't have they got more to prove, even though they're the champs, but they got to beat LeBron. Give me your opinion.
I still think the Lakers have something to prove because remember, the Celtics are the champs.
Okay.
Because this team, this team playing great, but right now they don't have anything to show for it. This Celtic team now, they've been to the finals twice. I think if the Lakers can go into Boston and beat them, that could propel them. Again, they're not going to get the number 1 seed. They're going to be 10 games behind, but I think about 15 left, unless OKC collapses. But no, I think that this is. I think the Lakers need this one a little bit. I think this is because the Celtics can still possibly catch Cleveland for the top seed in the East. And I right now I think the Lakers need this win a little bit more than the Celtics do.
All right, Pastor, you're a Laker man. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. I think the Lakers need it more than Boston because if they go in there tonight and, tomorrow and get beat by 20 or something, they're going to say, well, see, this is all good, but they still can't beat the champs. But if they go in there, like Ant said, and actually win, because you see, Boston just lost to the Cavs and they lost to Detroit. So they got to really say, okay, we got to get ourselves back. The Lakers come in there and beat them and he beat them by 10 or something like that. They're going to start, doubting themselves maybe. But I think this is definitely a good showing. I mean, even if they lose a close game, I think it'll be very big for the Lakers because this is the champs. If you go in their place and beat them or you get close to them, I think because even though Luka played good last year, it was never in doubt that Boston was winning last year.
Well,
he played good, but it was never in doubt that Dallas was not going to beat the Boston last year.
Okay,
so
but let me
I think
tell you
it's big for the Lakers.
Well, go ahead, Pat. I'll go with Don and then to Larry. But let me tell you what happened too. Kyrie Irving. See, LeBron not afraid to go into Boston and win. He's not afraid. Kyrie had a hard time winning in Boston, especially after he left Boston. So I mean, he played good. When they played against Minnesota, when he got to Boston, he was not the same Kyrie Irving. LeBron James don't have that problem playing in Boston. But go ahead, Don. Give me your opinion on the Lakers and the Celtics.
Well, you was definitely right about Kyrie. He stepped on a leprechaun, so that was it for him. But I definitely think the Lakers need this more because, like you say, Boston are the champ, and they've been playing, I think, lately without Porzingis, if I'm right. Which means I don't think
Then Drew Holiday. And he
I don't think they're playing when they play against each other the next game either. So the Lakers, even if they go in there and beat them without Porzingis and Drew Holiday, it'll send a nice statement, but it won't send a full statement because you're not beating the full team. But I think the Lakers need that, and I think the Lakers can give them a hard way to go.
Okay, go ahead, Larry. I'll go with Kendall.
I think the Celtics really need that, because being at your house up by 25 and getting beat, and them coming back and beating you, and then you got the Lakers who's on a run, also on a run, come back and beat you too. I think that does a little something to your confidence, And I think even though Drew Holiday's out and Porzingis is out, they need this one. They need to make a strong showing,
I agree, Larry.
They understand that the Celtics is their home and they got to stand ground.
But Larry, let me ask you a question. Do any teams fear the Celtics? Because like I know Pastor T brought about fear. Even though they're the champs, does any fear the Celtics the way they fear like the Bulls when they was winning or other champions? Do they really fear the Celtics because the Celtics won? And even when they won last year, a lot of players was hurt. They had a nice easy ride to the championship. Do these teams really fear the Celtics? You think?
No.
Okay.
Nobody fears the Celtics. Celtics got a great team, but nobody really fears the Celtics.
Okay.
They got Porzingis, and he gave them a big boost. And Tatum and Brown, they think they can control them. So I don't think they really fear the Celtics at all.
They don't fear Tatum and Brown like that. Go ahead, Kendall. Talking about the Celtics.
I know. Listen, let me tell you something. Can you hear me? I always say that.
We hear you, Kendall.
Let me tell you something. This is going to be a gauge because the Celtics are playing pretty cool. Matter of fact, the Celtics made history the other night by having two players hit 19 free throws, and they were the fourth and sixth options on the team. 19 three-pointers. That was amazing. Yeah. And two 40-point scorers in Celtic history. So the Celtics are doing their thing, and so are the Lakers. This is reminding me of the 80s, or also back in the 2000s when Kobe and Paul Pierce lined up twice in a final. When Paul Pierce says, "I call game." So let's see what happens. Boston versus LA, prime time. We're back. That's all I got to say. Television, must-see TV. So if the Lakers win, it's a gauge for them. Boston should win. They're the champs. But, hey, the Lakers look a little bit differently this year. And they're neither one of my team. But I'm going to watch that game.
In my opinion, I got to go with the Lakers. I think the Celtics need this game more because they got to prove, because I don't think nobody really fear them. But everybody respect them, but they don't fear them. And I know LeBron James doesn't fear them at all. And I don't think Luka fear them. So they got to send a message to the Lakers that we're the team to beat. So we'll see. We're going to move on again. You guys enjoying the show? What? Everybody having a good time?
Absolutely. Having a great time.
All right, this is Sports Talk on the Friday night edition. I'm Dr. Jerry Green along with Big Don for Big Don Production. Larry Pearson all the way in Maryland. One of the greatest pastors, Walter T. from Basileia. Our sports legend, Anthony McLean. And Every Moment Move with Kendall Tyson, my man. Hey, Kendall, let me start with you on this one. Should the Pelicans trade Zion Williamson at the end of the year?
Zion Williamson's a bust. He's good when he shows up, but once again, availability is the best ability, but he seems to be a disability and a liability. Zion Williamson is an amazing talent. He's great when he shows up. So it's like this. We get 10 games this year so far. How many games has Zion Williamson played in his career since he signed as the #1 overall pick? I mean, there it is. That's all I got to say. Zion Williamson, Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, the all no-show team.
Wow. I see Larry shaking his head. Larry, they should trade him or try to get something for him?
I told you that 2 years ago.
Oh, he played good against the Lakers. He played good against the Lakers.
You're just wasting your money on Zion. You know, year after year after year after year. There's no difference. It's the same repeat, you know, and you're still trying the same thing, expecting different results, and that's not going to happen. You got what you're looking for. How many times I got to show you?
Oh, wow, now you rough, man. Don, go ahead, man.
Well, I had agreed with Larry 2 years ago. But the only problem is if they trade Zion right now, they ain't worth looking at. They need somebody to get out there to put some seats, people in the seats.
Right.
So right now, I don't know if they can afford to trade him because they got rid of that other boy they had. What was his name?
Yeah, the tall guy. Right.
Ingram.
Right.
You got rid of Ingram, and all you had was Ingram and Zion Williams. Now you got rid of Ingram. You get rid of Zion Williams. I sure won't pay to go see him.
Go ahead, Anthony. What you think, man?
It's a double-edged sword, like the guys were saying. You're probably going to have to trade. If you're going to trade him, you're going to have to trade him now while his value is probably at its height, in a sense. Yeah. And to his credit, he has been playing this year. He's unfortunately he's always good for 15, 20 DNPs, in some form or fashion. But it's a gamble because then, who becomes the more unwatchable team, New Orleans or Dallas?
Wow.
That's true.
Wow.
Well said, Anthony. Well said. Pat, what do you think about trading Zion? If you was the GM, would you get rid of him? You're a franchise player or what?
Well, I agree with everybody what they just said. There's no reason to go watch that team without him. So, but I also think that if you're going to trade him, this is the time to trade him because he's actually averaging almost 25 points a game. So, but he has to stay healthy. That's the whole thing. But yeah, if they're going to trade him and they can get something for him, this would probably be the time to trade him because you don't know. If you try to say, okay, we're going to build around him, he might go down like an Embiid, go down, and now you kept him and wasted it. But yeah, he never lived up to the billing, unfortunately, because he was always hurt. So I tried to get something for him.
I mean, because we know what Dallas just did. They just trade their star player because basically they said he wasn't in shape, and he get not so much he get hurt, he wasn't in shape. Would that be almost equivalent, Larry? Trading? No. I mean,
Luka's an all-time great.
He's got to be hurt. It's guaranteed. It's not every year. Same exact thing. He plays good for a while, then he goes down. He's just not healthy. He can't stay healthy.
And Jerry, don't compare him to Luka.
Luka's an Iron Man. Luka's an Iron Man compared to Zion at this point.
Dallas made a big mistake. They paying for this mistake they made now. They made a huge with him. Everybody.
You can't compare him to Luka. He's a 5-time All NBA player. You can't compare him to Luka.
Luka as a player, I'm talking about he was the #1 pick, Zion. They wanted to be the face of the league. He was like to be the next Charles Barkley or the next LeBron. And you talking about trading away your #1 pick, you're your star franchise player. That's all I'm saying. So let's say he went to the Knicks or the Philly and made that team better. You don't want to make that mistake either. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, but if he was your star kid, and you thought you were gonna be a star. How long you gonna keep that dream?
I mean, like, I agree. He does get hurt. He get hurt.
Hey, Jerry.
Go ahead, Kendall.
Greg Oden was a #1 pick. He was picked over Kevin Durant. Okay. Joe Smith was a #1 pick. Glenn the Big Dog Robinson was a #1 pick. I mean,
Out of Purdue. Yeah.
Zion Williamson is just not showing up. He had the potential in college. It just has not translated to the NBA because of the fitness program that you have to be a part of the NBA. You have to pretty much govern yourself. You have a lot of free time when you're a grown man. Where you're in college, you have to go to the gym. You have to do your studies. They keep you in shape, and pros, it's up to you, So Zion Williamson hasn't shown me anything. You got to get rid of him to get the picks. I'd rather get the wins than the fans that come see it. That's all,
And one other thing, Jerry.
All right, brother.
Again, it's just as much of a gamble for the Pelicans to trade him as it is for the team that's willing to take him on. Because I mean, put it this way: if the Pelicans say we want a first-round pick, they're gonna, they're gonna slam down the phone so fast that they're gonna break their eardrum. So it's a gamble on either end, whether they keep him or whether they try to trade for him, because they're not gonna, put it this way, they're not gonna get a first-round pick for him.
Wow.
But if you waste that much money on him, if you had a car, you would have gave it away by now. You waste that much money on that car, you would give it away.
Yeah, at this point in time, right now, you're trying to get you're basically trying to get a Honda and trying to give somebody an Edsel.
Whoa, you guys! Hope Zion not watching this one. Oh my God! Hope Zion not watching this one. He's a big boy too.
I hope he is.
Larry, let me start with you on this one. What about the Phoenix Suns, though? You got Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. What kind of disappointment are they this year? And would you try to trade Kevin Durant? Give me your opinion.
Okay, my opinion is this: Durant is the only guy on there that you could probably get something from. Bill, nobody ever wanted Bill. You couldn't give Bill away. Nobody took that contract.
Well, Phoenix got him.
But that was a mistake. When it first happened, I said that's a huge mistake, because I watched Bill for years. He was a bum. He knew he was a bum. Washington just made money. You know what I'm saying? That was the biggest hoax it ever was. And for people to believe that would actually work, and Washington want to leave now too. The guard wants to leave now. He said he's
Devin Booker?
Yes, Booker
want to leave?
And the only hope he got is to try to hold on to Durant. Because Bill's a waste of talent. What you gonna do?
So you're gonna blame it on Bill? It's his fault, Bradley Beal. Now you tell me that
it was a big mistake.
It was a big mistake when it first started. That's what I said when they first traded for him. That was a huge mistake.
All right, are you right? Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, get rid of Bradley Beal, talk Booker in the stand, and try to find you somebody else to go with the boys.
He got a no trade clause in his contract too. They can't do that.
So you have to beg him to leave.
Pay him to go home. You got to pay him to go home.
No, did they make a big mistake or what? They can't even get rid of the guy. He's not going to let that money go. They would have to give it to him, actually. So, I don't know. It's hard to get rid of Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant said he wanted to stay. And if I heard those words out of Kevin's mouth, I really wouldn't get rid of him. But I wouldn't get rid of Booker either.
Go ahead. But I'm telling you the problem is, though. Go ahead, Kendall, about the Phoenix Suns. I just think they need a point guard. But go ahead.
Well, they're individual talents. Yeah, they're individual talents. You got all shooters and no one to distribute the ball to them.
They need a point guard.
Like you said, no point guard. No point guard.
No points. Nothing.
Nope.
What was Bill?
Well, they got the point guard. They got the point.
Well, who's the point guard?
They got the point guard this year. The guy they signed off season. He's not a superstar, but he's a true point guard. But I wanted to show you this. Zion's average 25.8, 6.6 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 1.4 steals, and 1 block shot. And he's shooting 61% from the field.
That's great too. Individual
Yeah.
talent.
And he's playing like about 30
Yeah.
30 40 minutes a game now
They
too, right?
got him.
Yeah.
Right. They're trying to keep his workload down. So
So
they're not going to get rid of him. I mean, that's all they got. But he's only 24 years old. You know.
No,
So
he's unstoppable when he gets going. If he
yeah.
shows up, availability is the best ability. You know.
Yeah. But sometimes, bro, just like we talk about Greg Otis, sometimes injuries, is not you can do it. Like Bill Walton. Look how great he would have been if he didn't have all the footer. Yao
Yeah, but
Ming, if you look at Yao Ming, he didn't
Zion
play that
Williams
much because
is about his weight issue. He
right,
doesn't.
well, yes,
and Ralph
His is
Sampson
not
too.
staying in shape.
yeah,
And,
his weight,
Yeah.
yeah. But
and Ralph,
I said some people you can't do anything about the injury issue. Yeah,
and
But
Ralph
just
for
Sampson
like
used to
the
be.
first 2 years, he was
Kawhi
injured.
had Kawhi had chronic knee injuries since he was in high school. They already knew that. Chronic knee problems
Mm,
since he was in high school. So,
wow. Okay. Well, now you want to say something?
Curry had bad ankles his first 2 years. Okay, and they thought he
yeah,
was a bust at first because he couldn't play. But he worked on his ankles, got him strong, and then he came back and being an all-star. But with Zion, it's not going to happen. If you stay injured this much, the best right now is the right time to make a trade. Get as much you can get for him, and you might get something for him. You might fool
The double,
somebody. Get
What
your
about
first
you?
round pick.
I got you ready to get the end.
the double-edged sword with Zion is the ankles thrown along with the weight problems. I mean, it's the ultimate double whammy. When he's in shape, his ankles aren't his ankles aren't that much of an issue. But when he's out of shape, the ankle it's the put it this way. The one positive he has going for him is that he's 24. So there's still possibly something that could be salvaged. But knowing the history of the NBA and again, until he's able to lick his weight problems, it's going to be it's a gamble whether you keep him, and it's a gamble whether you trade him, because you're not really going to get a whole lot from him. Even at his peak right now, you're not going to really get a whole lot for him right now.
I think the
right. That's
Knicks
what
could
happened with
use him.
Charles Barkley.
I
Charles
think the
Barkley
Knicks could
said.
use him.
Charles Barkley said when they called him, he asked Moses Malone, why wasn't we great like that? He said, because you're fat. He said he cried, but he said he got himself in shape
Yeah.
and became all-time great.
Yeah,
When you watch Zion,
you hope for Zion's sake, because he's young, that it can
Right.
still happen. But again, it's see, the thing, especially with the NBA, it's a cumulative thing, because even when you look at Odin, chronic stuff. When you talked about Kawhi, chronic stuff. I mean, Yao Ming wasn't even 30 when
Right.
his career ended.
It's just
So
too big.
It's the constant, look, you can't not run in the NBA. That's the game is predicated on running and up and down like that. So the strain's going to be there. I hope for Zion's sake that, maybe it's a thing where maybe he just needs a change of scenery. Maybe
Right.
that could do it, and go somewhere. Maybe he can have his Barkley Malone moment. Someone says to him, "Hey, look, you're a talent, but you got to want it. You got to change your ways."
well, looking at him right now, he looked like he lost some weight. He looking pretty slim
Yeah,
right now,
definitely.
and he's playing
Absolutely.
great. I think
Absolutely.
with the right management, he could be all right. And I still think he should go to the Knicks. I think he can get them over the hump.
Yeah, okay. I mean, they got to trade some pieces for him. Okay, let me move on, man. It's 6:45. I know it's Friday night. I don't want to keep you guys all night. Let me start with you, Anthony, on this one. The SGA for OKC and Donovan Mitchell for the Cavs. Are they underrated this year? So no guys should be in the MVP conversation. Are they being are they underrated as superstars in this league?
I thought the SGA was in it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Look,
he's his number
I
one.
think they both. I think they both established themselves as MVP candidates. I don't think they're underrated. It's just, unfortunately.
Let me
But
rephrase it. Let me rephrase it then. I mean, people talk about Jason Tatum. They'll talk about LeBron. They'll talk about Luka. They'll talk about the Joker. They'll talk about Jamal. I very seldom hear too much anything about SGA. Is it because, or Donovan Mitchell? Is it because they're in small markets, or they don't have the household name? That's what I mean, underrated.
you know what? Especially with the NBA MVP, it's become a popularity contest right now.
Okay.
You always hear these phrases, "Oh, it's his time to win," or "It wasn't his time to win." And to me, that's a cop out. If you're the best player for that season, you deserve to get there. And clearly, Mitchell and SGA are in the conversation. I think maybe because, let's face it, there's that East Coast bias that we have here in regard to that, with the exception for the Lakers, because let's face it, ESPN is basically the Laker network in a
They was talking
sense.
about that today. I
But
heard.
but I think the thing is, this is one year where it's not a slam dunk. It's probably going to come down to these next 15 or so games. I personally would think if OKC finishes with the top seed in the West, that SGA should be the MVP. Matter of fact, if I'm putting together a ballot right now, I would go SGA, LeBron, and then Mitchell. That would be my top three.
Go ahead, Donald. What you think? Are these guys, are they getting their proper due or what? Donovan Mitchell and SGA.
I think they are because you can't rule SGA out. They're in first place. So, and Donovan Mitchell in the East. So I think they are getting their proper due.
Okay.
I didn't see that part you're talking about. Those guys are top guys there. And I also agree with Anthony on his 3 picks. I like those 3 picks too.
Yeah, LeBron and Mitchell.
Yeah, I actually can't see you ruling those guys out. They're too good for not to be at least honorable mention up there. They got to be.
They got to be up there. I agree. But when I'm talking about household name or names that, I very seldom hear SGA or Donovan Mitchell name being brought up, but it's always
starting to come around. It's starting to come around more and more, especially SGA. All the kids know him by now.
Go ahead, Larry. Talk to me.
I think SGA's up there in the voting now. SGA's way up there.
Yep.
And the Joker, but the guy for Cleveland, they're not talking about him too much. They leave his name out. Now LeBron's name has been mentioned. LeBron's up there around number 4. His name is being mentioned. But the guard for Cleveland, he's not mentioned. And I don't know why. Maybe because
is he underrated then? That's my point. Are they sleeping on him? Donovan Mitchell.
But they got a great team too.
And he was good in Utah too. Now it wasn't like he was never good. He was because Utah had the best record in the West one year too. Even though they got off, and he get hurt a lot too in the playoffs. So we got to see. But let me get Pastor Walt, our sports legend as well. His opinion on this. We're talking about SGA and Donovan Mitchell. Are they underrated? Or are they getting their proper respect or what?
Yeah, they're not underrated. No, SGA, they talk about him all the time. I mean, he's getting his proper due. He's young, he's playing. I think Donovan Mitchell, if it's out of the two of them, I think SGA is getting more shine than Donovan Mitchell. But they're both really good, and I think they're both getting their just due. I don't think no one's sleeping on them. Donovan Mitchell, like you said, he was good in Utah. I think what got him, kind of got down the peg is when he, came to Cleveland and the Knicks took him out, pretty much without no resistance at all that first time. And then he got hurt last year. So, but he's playing. That's why I said if they continue to play like they're playing now, and Garland's playing well, and as Kendall said, the Fro's playing, they're dangerous. And now they got the kid from Atlanta to play against Boston, the Wings. They're good. Yeah, but I think I think SGA is definitely, he's hurt too. SGA is hurt too. He's not playing tonight.
Okay.
But, yeah.
John, did I get you ready?
Yeah, you got me already.
Okay. All right. Shaq and Draymond Green said on television, and Draymond Green said on his podcast, he said that we need to start mentioning Steph Curry in the GOAT conversation. I don't know if you guys heard any of them comments. You know, I watch sports a lot on television. Shaq said it on the TNT, and Draymond Green on his podcast that we need to start. Come on, people in the sports arena like us, and everybody talk about LeBron and Michael and Kareem. Steph need to be in that conversation. Donald, what you think?
I'll start putting him in it. I mean, Steph, I mean, for to be a guard, I mean, Steph done changed the game and everything, and some of the shots he's making now and what he's showing me, I mean, he'll never be my main GOAT, but I'll put him in the conversation. I'm not going to say Steph don't belong. He belong right up on that mountain with the rest of them, but maybe not in first place.
Go ahead, Larry. What you think, man? Steph,
he's up there. He's up there for a particular reason. You know, he's one of the best 3-point shooters there ever was. You know, and he's known for that. You know, and he's a great passer. He's a great passer, but he's not one of the greatest passers. But as far as the 3-point shooting, he should be considered one of the greatest, but not the great, or not even the top 3 or 4. You know?
would you put him in the GOAT conversation?
No, not at all.
Well, that's what Shaq and Draymond said. You said not at all. On our show, you said no.
Not as far as the GOAT.
All right. What about you, Pastor Walt?
I think I brought this up last week. Remember, I said that they were saying that if Steph wins another title, because him and LeBron got the same amount of titles, that he should be in that conversation. You know, but again, like we go to the other one, he's not my GOAT. I wouldn't put him in there, but he should be getting mentioned because he's playing in this era with LeBron, and he has just as many titles, and he's still going strong. So, for that point, he should be mentioned. Yes.
Okay, I'll let you guys finish and I'll comment. Go ahead, Anthony. Did I get you already? Kendall's going, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely deserves to be in the conversation. And again, as I was saying last week in regard to LeBron, just because we're saying he's not in the top 5 doesn't mean that that doesn't take away from his legacy. You know,
right.
Look, the GOAT conversation is something that we could do till we're blue in the face. You know, everybody's going to have their particular one. Is Steph going to be the first guy you mentioned in regard to the GOAT conversation? No. Does he belong in the conversation? Absolutely.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, yes. I mean, he could be in the conversation, but I know Pastor brought up if he wins another ring, he'll have more rings than LeBron, which he would. Both of them got 4. The only thing with me about that, and Steph put people in the seats as well. People come to see Steph. He's a great shooter. But on the defensive end and all that, when you start talking about defense, you know, and I could put you in the conversation where they still going to pick on you on the defensive end because there's no way they would have called the play for Kyrie Irving if that was Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or LeBron or anybody else. And we're going to set a pick and roll, and you got to wind up with Michael Jordan on you. That's not going to happen. So so Steph is still vulnerable on certain areas on that court, especially on the defensive end. So I can put him in that conversation. No.
Put it this way, Jerry.
Right.
He may not be Michael Jordan, but he's not James Harden either.
I wouldn't even put James Harden in that.
And James Harden is about as one-dimensional. To me, James Harden is a one-dimensional guy. I don't think James. I would put Steph a little above. I mean, he's not the greatest defensive player, but he's not the worst either. I understand what you're saying, but his defense is not going to keep him out of the GOAT conversation. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And his offense is what got him in it.
Exactly. See, and I don't want to go into a long rant here. You know, unfortunately, it seems like now, whether you're talking baseball, football, basketball, whatever, we harp so much on what they can't do as opposed to what they can do. You know, remember all those years they used to say, well, Jim Brown's a great running back, but he can't block. But he's running for 1,000, he's averaging 6 yards a carry.
Right.
You know, I mean, doesn't that sort of supersede, they used to always talk about with Nolan Ryan, yeah, he's got the 7 no-hitters and all that, but he also led in walks. But shouldn't the 7 no-hitters and the 6,000 strikeouts sort of supersede some of that other stuff?
That's true. Go ahead, Larry. You want to say something?
Yeah, I think Magic should be put up there because only reason Magic retired was because of the age thing. You know what I'm saying? And he would have been, and he'd have much, much more records. And I think because of that and what he did in his little bit of time that he did play, he should be right up there.
You can't put him as the GOAT because he didn't get a chance to finish and show it.
We talking about? We talking about?
Magic. You can't put him up there because he didn't have enough time to actually do what he would have been in the conversation, right? But you can't put him in there because he didn't last long enough.
All right.
But the fact that he innovated the game as a 6'9" point guard, doesn't that sort of supersede all of that too?
No, short career.
No,
Yeah,
that's
he had a lot-
Five
he had a lot left in his
five
career that
titles
we didn't
doesn't
get to see.
supersede
Not that
that.
short.
Not in my book.
Listen, I know
Career
not the
too
GOAT,
short.
but what Ant said earlier. Just because you don't say he's the GOAT, don't mean he's not all time great, man. You guys are
I
saying
never said that.
if you're saying
I'm just
no,
saying
not you, Don.
he
I'm
didn't
not
hang
saying
in
you,
there
Don.
long enough to be the GOAT.
Don, I'm not saying you, Don. But I'm saying. But when we have this conversation, when we have it with our host here, especially when we say LeBron ain't the GOAT, you act like we're saying that he stink. No, it's not my God. We're saying just because you're not saying he's the GOAT, don't mean he's not all time great. I mean, of all the hundreds and thousands of players that ever played the game, to say that a guy is number two, man, that sure ain't a slight.
No, that's not
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how it's perceived. Like, how come it ain't? How come it ain't? How come it ain't?
No, let me defend that then, because when they say things about Michael, and which I remember my career too, everything about Mike was perfect. Okay, but when you say something about LeBron, it's always, well, he's 4-6 in the finals. He had Dwayne Wade. It's always excuses. But they don't say Michael had Scottie Pippen. He had Dennis Rodman. He had Phil Jackson. He had Jimmy Smith. It's always
Who's Phil Jackson? Phil Jackson went to the Lakers. Phil Jackson, you know me, Jerry. We used to have this conversation at work. I don't think Phil Jackson was a great coach. I think he had great players. Because you know why? Because he could not adapt. When the Spurs was kicking their behind when everybody left, he still tried to run that triangle and they was getting their butt kicked.
then
So
why did Mike say I'm gonna play with another coach but Phil?
well, that's Mike. So what? That'll mean so what? But he went from but listen, but you said Phil Jackson, but look who he was coaching. And he went from there to Shaq and Kobe and you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, but I'm just saying it's not a slight.
Phil got
It's
11
not a
rings and Mike
slight.
got. So if you guys going by rings, because
We
that's
ain't going by rings. We ain't going by rings. That's why our conversation we had last week when we started off, because you keep bringing to the rings, I said we're not because Bill Russell got more rings than all of them, and you said right from the jump he's not better than Mike. So it's not about the rings.
Yeah, because if it's about the
rings.
rings, if it's about the rings, then we're gonna throw Robert Ory and Steve Kerr in the conversation as well.
Exactly.
The rings. I don't bring up the rings when it comes to that. I'm just saying.
It's a conglomerate. It's a conglomerate of things. It's a conglomerate of things.
Only I'm saying when you talk about LeBron, it's always an excuse. It's always something. His longevity. He's on some kind of drink. But Michael is always perfect. There's nothing wrong. It's always Michael Jordan. This, that, nothing.
6-0 in the 6-0 in the finals. 6-0 in the finals. But here's the thing. The freaking logo is what was 1-8 in the finals.
Right. I agree. And lost to Bill Russell and all of them, basically, except for Walt Frazier one time. I agree. Twice. Lost to the Knicks twice.
The whole and again, I don't want to overemphasize or anything. When we're talking about the greatest of all time, put it this way. It's sort of a 5-tier thing. And it's like, okay, championships, that counts for something. Longevity, that counts for something. Impact on the game, that counts for something. It's not just one thing. It's not just the championships. It's not just the popularity. It's not just, the talent, whatever. It's a conglomerate of things.
Okay.
I've always seen the great thing about the NBA is the league has survived Bill Russell retiring. They've survived Dr. J retiring. They've survived Kareem retiring. They've survived. Think of all the great players who have retired and the NBA is still as popular as ever. It speaks, I think it speaks to the game. And remember, think of how much the era has changed from Russell's day to even just Kareem's day, and then from Kareem's day to Shaq's day. I mean, think of the changes that the league has made. It's still sustained itself even with all of that.
And we still watch it to this day. I remember, I go back to this day here. This is my final one for you guys, man. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to start with you, Don. All right. Who had the better career? Shaq. Tim Duncan says, Shaq, stop saying you're the most dominant. All right. Both of them started around the same time. Tim Duncan got 5 rings. Shaq got 4. Which one had the better career, Don? Shaq or Tim Duncan, in your opinion?
Well, Tim definitely have every right to say that to Shaq, more so than a lot of centers. When you look at a career, I have to go with Tim Duncan. I mean, he proved himself. Like I say, Shaq had a great career, but he came lazy. He made Kobe mad with him. They blew a championship. Those kind of things. We know Timmy stayed quiet and got the job done for the Spurs. I'm going to go with Duncan on that.
All right, Larry, who you got, Tim Duncan or Shaq? Who had the better career?
The better career, you could say Duncan had the better career, but the most dominant player was Shaq, hands down. People feared Shaq in the middle, but the better career, Duncan had a better career, without a doubt. The numbers.
So they didn't fear Tim Duncan, you don't think?
No.
Yeah, numbers say Tim Duncan, but Shaq was more feared than Duncan.
I agree.
Okay, so when the team played the San Antonio Spurs, and Tim Duncan was on the floor, and Ginobili and Tony Parker and other players that came along, they didn't fear Tim Duncan like they feared Shaq. Because remember,
No.
Tim Duncan beat Shaq. Tim Duncan beat him. But no, listen, Tim Duncan beat Shaq a couple times too in the playoffs. All right, Larry.
Well, but Jerry, you're overlooking it. When we say fear factor, we're talking about the Michael Jordan factor.
Okay, but he beat him.
When Shaq stepped on the court, they know they were getting a beast out there.
Well, obviously Tim Duncan
getting out there, they were getting a good player.
But obviously Tim Duncan didn't fear him because he beat him in the playoffs. I think he beat him twice.
No, he didn't fear him in that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the fear factor. When Shaq came to town, you didn't know if he was going to break the rim down or not. Tim Duncan, you're going to get a nice little quiet game, and he was going to just take you out. But Shaq, he might have broke the rim, broke your nose, anything.
Okay, that broke your nose. What about you, Pastor? Like I said, Tim Duncan or Tim Duncan?
It's not even close. Yeah, Tim Duncan's a better player all around. I think Shaq was lazy to be that big and that, he says he's the most dominant, but I'm a Laker fan. And I said, get the freaking rebound. What are you doing? I mean, so yeah, I'm the wrong one. I'm the wrong one about Shaq. I know they put him up there, but to me, no, Tim Duncan, hands down.
Well, you're rough anyway, Pastor. You're a stone Laker man. I know that. But
yeah, I'm a Laker man, but I'm a realist. But Laker's lazy. I mean, to be that big and that he should be averaging, 20 rebounds like the stuff Chamberlain was doing, but he didn't. That's why Kobe was upset with him. They should have never lost to Detroit. How you gonna let Ben Wallace outplay you?
I said that the other day when we talked about Detroit.
What I'm saying is, we're talking about Tim Duncan or Shaq. I'm on Tim Duncan's side. I go with Tim Duncan. I think he's the greatest. Yeah.
Tim Duncan or Shaq? Anthony, you?
Duncan.
Duncan all the way?
Right?
Duncan.
Yeah.
I can't add more to what everybody else has said. Duncan, to me, Duncan's a better player, and he had the better career.
Yeah. Better player too. Yeah.
What, Doc?
I wanted to bring up Stephen A. How LeBron James went over and said something to him.
I had it up here too. I didn't get to it, but go ahead.
And then I want to say that maybe Stephen A. didn't get all mad because he just got a $100 million contract. But LeBron James went over and said something to Stephen A. about Bronny James. And I was going to get you guys' opinion. Did any of you guys see that? Because that was last night.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I saw it. He's sick. Hey, you're going to stick up for your son. I don't blame him one bit. Don't blame him one bit.
Yeah, but as a father, don't you sort of got to back off and let your son? He's in the NBA now. Yeah. You got to be his own man. LeBron James didn't have no dad there to stick up for him. this is the point here when people really, Bronny will catch it behind this. Oh, your dad is the one got to take up for you. He'll catch it. You know how that
But
goes.
see, actually, I'll say something that I said on Tuesday night. I think the way LeBron is playing, it has sort of taken pressure off of Brian because look, we all knew he was going to be a project. There was, we all, he was probably the most overhyped second round pick in the history of the NBA.
Yeah,
That
no
being
doubt.
said, that being said, you knew. I mean, look, you knew he was going to struggle. You knew that he was going to catch hell. But that being said, I got no problems with LeBron speaking up for his son at all. None whatsoever. Absolutely none.
All right, Larry, go ahead, bro. What you think about? I don't know if you heard the comment, or I know Stephen A.
What
talked about.
was the comment?
No. LeBron James confronted Stephen A. Smith at courtside last night at the game, and they was talking about. LeBron brought up, I guess, what Stephen A. was talking about his son Bronny on television. So LeBron confronted him. I guess he didn't appreciate some of the things that Stephen A. was saying. That what he said. And do you think it was right for LeBron to confront him at the game courtside?
No. I think something like that could have been handled in a different way. It didn't have to be done in front of cameras because you don't want to put Stephen A. or your son on point. Now all this stuff's still going to get out. They're going to be talking about his son even more now. So he didn't make the situation any better.
What you think, Pastor?
Don't know. It shouldn't probably been courtside, but I'm with Ant. I mean, if somebody was trash talking my son, I would tell him to back off too. Especially if I had the kind of clout LeBron got, I would definitely say, "Yo, you better shut up before I buy ESPN and fire you behind." But I'm just saying, yeah, I would say something, but maybe not in the right venue. But because they're always killing them. But we knew we were killing. You guys were killing them on here, so they're gonna be killing. But we know that like you said, he's gonna be a project. It's just good to have. I mean, it's just good to be able to look down the bench and see your son on there. I think.
Yeah, but it don't look good at this stage of the game. I'm trying to say, with his dad busting out that take up for him. Let him take up for his own self at this point. He's a man now. He's in the NBA. He's a man now. Take up for yourself. Tell your dad, I don't need you doing that for me in public. I don't need it.
See,
that's my opinion.
But Don, I'm going to change gears a little bit. But see, a lot of people don't realize the power of words and the power of radio and television and how it go forward. It's just like when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock.
Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I mean, because the man talking about his wife on television, he just couldn't take it. Stephen, sometimes reporters talk about because they got the freedom to talk. And they say, like, even Donald Trump, he's not gonna let you talk about him. He don't care who you are. Right?
Please don't.
That's another 2-hour conversation in and of itself.
I'm saying, but everybody can't take you talking about them all the time, because the television is powerful. You can talk about Brian enough, and you can make it even worse on the kid yourself just by talking about him. I'm talking about like a Stephen A. Smith or whoever. So sometimes, Dad, I got to confront you and say, look, man, back on my son a little bit. Talk about something else. Go ahead.
Jerry, I akin this to Shaq, trying to make basically a national embarrassment of JaVale McGee.
Right.
It's like, enough already. Give it a rest.
Yeah, right.
And again, that's why I said, and if you remember, it took the two mothers getting together and basically Shaq's mother telling him, "Hey, sit your fat butt down and stop talking about that kid." And
did the same thing to Dwight Howard.
In that instance,
and Dwight Howard got over it because I saw him on the podcast. He said he wanted to
there's a limit.
Go ahead.
There's a limit because what Stephen A does is very, it's kind of a cheap shot because it's real easy because it's not like he's back in the Philadelphia Inquirer where he was at the games or whatever. He's in the spacious studios. He's not going to be in the locker rooms like he was. He can very easily sit back and take pot shots at him on national TV, and there's really no repercussion.
Right. And he always starts off saying, "You're my brother. I love you dearly. You're my brother."
Yeah, and I think and again, that's I think people have like, have taken that as like, yeah, here he's trying to, cover, he's trying to play, the ultimate CYA in
Right.
that instance.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like when you're in the pulpit as a minister or whatever, you talk, but you can't get personal with people on certain things. You let the word come out. And some people, they get a platform, Don, and they start talking about folks, and everybody can't take it. Everybody just can't take it, man. So
I
that's
get it.
all right. It's 7:10. I'm going to close out in prayer. I'm going to keep you guys all night. On a Friday, we lost Kendall, but we'll pick him up on Tuesday. So, Father God, we just thank you for another sports talk tonight on a Friday night edition. We thank you, Lord, for just blessing this show on WJRG Television Network. Bless everyone, Father God, that's viewing us. And we just thank you for everyone that participates tonight, Lord. And every Tuesday and Friday we get together, and bless the families as well, Lord. We just thank you, Lord, for all your glory, Lord, for how you just bless all of us, Lord, that we come together in fellowship and fun and laughter, Lord. So we love you. We just thank you for being a blessing. Continue to bless the show. Bless each and every family that represents Sports Talk, and bless the ministries as well. And we give you all the glory on this Friday night. In Jesus' name, amen and amen. You guys have a blessed weekend, and we'll see everybody Tuesday night on Sports Talk. All right? God bless everyone. You'll have a
Take care,
good night.
guys.
All right.
All right, man.
All right.
Have a blessed night. All right.
Okay.